Hey everyone, welcome you all. In this video, we are going to discuss what is meant by multivibrator. So, a multivibrator is a two-state electronic device used to implement oscillators, timers, and flip-flops. So, basically, a multivibrator is a two stable state device. So, which can have either one stable state or it can't be have any of the stable state. So, its output will be changing from one state to another state continuously. So if it is having a one stable state, then it is called as a stable multivibrator. While it is having stable states, then it is called as bistable multivibrator. So the basic construction includes two transistors acting as amplifying devices which are cross coupled by resistors and capacitors. So here we will be using two types of components, that is active components as well as the passive components. So the transistors are the active components which we will be using. So these are cross coupled to each other with the help of passive components, that are resistors and capacitors. So basically the multivibrators work on the Bar-Khussain criteria, that is the loop gain of the control system should be slightly greater than the unity so that the oscillations will be created. So if the loop gain is less than unity, then the decaying of the circuit happens and no oscillations will be created. But if the loop gain is greater than, very much greater than unity, then at that time the circuit will get overdriven and the output is not suitable for use. So it should be only slightly less than unity in order to get the sustained oscillations. Okay, so that is first criteria, and the second criteria is the output of the both the transistors. So we will be using two transistor in case of any of the multivibrators, either it is a stable, monostable, or bistable. So output of each transistor should be 180-degree out of phase with respect to it. So which indicates only one of it will be active at a time or on at a time. So that we will be see in our further discussion. So at this instant, you just understand that multivibrator is a important component which has got either one or two stable states, and it is mainly used in oscillators, flip-flops, and other electronic circuits. Okay, so now coming to the classification of multivibrators. So it has got three types in it. So the first one is a stable multivibrator, that is this one, and then second comes monostable multivibrator, and the third one is bistable multivibrator. So let us see what is mean by these individual multivibrators. So first, a stable. So this circuit is not suitable in any state, so stable in any state. So this circuit has got no stable state. Okay, so its output will be always changing, so it will be something like this. So it is always changing output, so it is called as a stable multivibrator. And the second one is monostable multivibrator. In this, one state is stable whereas other will be unstable. So it has got one as the stable state and other as the unstable or transient. So here the basic meaning of the transient is changing. So here we will be having one state as stable. So we require a pulse to maintain at a stable state, and we don't require any other external pulse to maintain the monostable multivibrator at a unstable state. So this has got two stable states. Okay, so here the triggering pulse does the work of changing the state. So how does the change of this multivibrator changes? So it is done with the help of triggering pulse. So it will change the output of the multivibrator, so either high to low or low to high. So high is the one stable state and low is the other stable state. So depending on the pulse or trigger which we will be applying, the output is going to change. Okay, so the last one is bistable multivibrator. So the bistable indicates two, so it has got two stable states. Okay, so this has got no stable state and it has got one. So it has got zero stable state, it has got one stable state, and this has got two stable states. So this sequence you should remember. Then the bistable, in this the circuit is stable in both the states, that is its state can be changed by triggering the pulse. So here the circuit is stable in both the state means it is stable in high state as well as low state. So it can remain in the high state as well as the low state. So this is the brief classification of multivibrators depending on the states which will be present. So now coming to the circuit diagram of the stable multivibrator. So it has got two transistor as shown here. So this is the first Q1 transistor and this is the Q2 transistor. So these are the NPN transistors. So in any practical applications we will be using NPN transistor because these are easy to manufacture. So that you should please note. And these are identical transistors. So Q1 is same as that of Q2 or Q2 is same as that of Q1. So and these are the time constant, RC time constant, that is the charging of the capacitor will be depending on these resistance values. So R and C will constitute the time constant. So T equal to R into so C into R2 we can say. So this is the charging and this is the collector. So this is the collector terminal. So this is emitter, base and collector. So this is emitter, base and collector. Okay, so this is the collector resistance for the transistor Q2, that is R4, and this is the collector resistance for the transistor Q1, that is R1. So this is the voltage which is present at the capacitor terminal, and this is the voltage V2 which is present at the capacitor terminal C2. Okay, so how does this work? How it will be having no stable state? Okay, so let us try to see. Okay, first, please note that both the transistors should not be on at a time. So these two transistors are not going to activate at the same time. So first either Q1 will on or Q2 will on. So depending on the doping level and electrical constants, these either of these will going to activate first. So we will assume in our discussion Q1. So it is not necessary that Q1 is always on first. It may occur that Q2 is initialized before the Q1, but we don't know, so that's why we will assume that Q1 is on for first in the our discussion. Okay, so that assumption please note. And then we know that so basic transistor working we know. So if this is a transistor, then this is the emitter, and the zero point 0.7 voltage will be present here. So base, emitter and collector. So if this is VCC is applied, so whenever the voltage which is applied to this one is base and emitter is less than zero point 0.7, at that time it is open circuit, means here the voltage drop will be here voltage drop will be equal to VCC, that is this is open circuited. And when this voltage drop greater becomes greater than zero point 0.7, that is base and emitter voltage, at that time this transistor will get activated and this will be like closed switch, and the voltage here goes to zero, that is VC voltage will go to zero, collector and emitter voltage will going to zero here. So this is how the basic transistor works. That means when it is conducting it is like a short circuit, and when it is not conducting it is like a open circuit. So this same concept is used here. Okay, so let us say VCC is applied here, and the current so the collector of the first transistor is connected to the base of the collector of the second transistor is connected to the base of the first, and collector of the first transistor is also connected to the base of the second. So that indicates a cross coupling. So you can see collector is connected to base, and here also collector is connected to base. So that is called as cross coupling. So it is needed to get the feedback control. Okay, so first we will see how does it work. Okay, VCC is applied here, and when the base voltage applied here increases above the zero point 0.7 here, at that time the first transistor will get activate. So this will get activate means it is, and simultaneously the capacitor will get charged. So the positive will be here and the negative will be here, and it will be charged fully now. Okay, so initially it is charged fully, and the voltage which is applied over here, due to this, when it increases above the zero point 0.7 volt, at that time this will start conducting and it becomes like a short circuit. And due to short circuit, this voltage which will be present in the capacitor will be grounded, so it will start discharging through this short circuit. Okay, so what will be happening first is for Q1, let us say first it will be 0. Okay, so output voltage across V0 will be 0 here. and then when we start the circuit, at that time, due to the charging mechanism, it will start charging and the voltage here will build. And when it increases over the zero point 0.7 volt, at that time this will become short circuit, and this V1 voltage will go to zero here. So this will go to zero because it had started discharging. So it will initially charge and then start discharging. So again, when this is one cycle here, so now it has short circuited and it has discharged. So we come up to this point here, it is discharged now. So initially charge and discharge. Okay, so this is about Q1. Now how does the Q2 get activated? So I want to know Q2 also. So Q2, what will be happening is the negative voltage here produced will drive the Q2 into the negative cutoff region. So it is presently deactivated. So that is in the off state. Okay. So when it is on, it will be in the off state, and due to the negative minus VCC which will be present here, its base will get saturated, and that's why the output gets activated. And here, so when the voltage at this point is equal to 0, at that time voltage at this point will be equal to VCC. So the outputs are here, it will be positive. And okay, so due to the negative voltage which is produced over here, the base will be having a greater voltage than zero point 0.7. Then this will get activated. At that time, this will go to the off state because of discharging of this capacitor will stop here because this gets short circuited. Okay, so this get short circuited here, and the voltage which is present over here, it will flow here, or the voltage drop across this terminal will drop. So the voltage, this zero point 0.7 voltage no further exist here. So this will get turned off and this will get turned on. Now the output of this one will be high here. And again, in the second case, it will again go to the off state due to the discharging mechanism here. Then again, the capacitor will charge through the resistor R3, and again the voltage across it will greater than the zero point 0.7 volt. At that time, again this will charge over here, and this will be opposite of this one. So like this, there will be a 180-degree out of phase shift across these two. As you can see, there is a 180-degree phase shift over here. So like this, stable multi vibrator works. So I hope you like this video. Please guys, hit the subscribe button and share the video if you like. Okay, so and one more thing I want to tell you that, so you we can't get a square wave that is perfect square wave. So in order to get the perfect square wave, we need to take this resistance lower than the this. So if it is 1k, then it has to be 1 mega. And the capacitive, that is collector resistance, should be equal, that is R1 should be equal to R4 and R2 should be equal to R3. R2 should be equal to R3. So this is the criteria which is used to get the perfect square waves. So these two resistance should be equal to each other, and this resistance should be greater than this one, and this resistance should be less than this one, and this resistance should be less than this one. So and capacitors value should be equal to each other. At that time you can get the perfect square wave. So that's all about a stable multivibrator. Thank you. Thanks for watching.